Welcome to Higher Impact, where we're inspiring you to reach higher and dream bigger. I'm Teresa Hairston, and we've got an uplifting show for you tonight. I want to encourage you to pursue your God-given purpose. God had a purpose and plan for your life when He created you. Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Remember, when you are on God's agenda, you are absolutely unstoppable. Here's a quote from my latest book, Unstoppable. Always remember that despite the obstacles you face, you are an overcomer. Keep fighting forward and never, ever give up. Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Power, love, and soundness of mind are attributes that describe the faith character of courageous overcomers. Tonight, we have a special show for you. We're celebrating Black Music Month, and for Higher Impact, that means celebrating gospel music. The roots of gospel music reach all the way back to Africa, where our ancestors created songs that were full of joy as they danced to rhythmic drums. From Africa to America, slaves carried the seeds of the gospel music genre in their hearts, and in spite of being tortured and beaten, slave masters could not keep them from their worship. More than 60 years after emancipation during the 1930s, a young man named Thomas A. Dorsey began combining the blues with sacred lyrics. Dorsey organized and popularized a genre that he called gospel music. He became so dedicated to teaching people how to sing this gospel music that he established an organization called the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses. Today, although Professor Thomas Dorsey has passed on, his organization lives on. On this show, we'll talk to the current president of the organization and find out what they're up to. There are millions of gospel music fans across the world, but most people who listen to gospel music don't understand that quartets were the foundation of gospel's driving and dynamic performance style. Tonight, we'll talk to the Williams Brothers, one of the most prolific and successful quartets in gospel music. And when it comes to gospel music recordings, Ty Scott Records holds the distinction of being the oldest African-American owned record label. I'm honored that we will speak with the founder, Dr. Leonard Scott. And we'll close the show tonight with a phenomenal vocalist who just signed a new record deal, Miss Chrystal Rucker. We'll be right back.
Your Impact Network has gone mobile. Our brand new app allows you to stream our complete lineup of preaching, ministry, and music 24/7. Impact's app features our content schedule for quick and easy searching and a Bible reading plan so you never miss daily devotions. We also have a brand new video on demand section. Your Impact Network is now available in the App Store on all mobile platforms. Download it today and tell your friends.
Thank you for the honor of having me on Higher Impact. Thank you.
Higher Impact, yes. Now, I know that the Dorsey Convention, now this is like 90, how many years is this? 90 years?
89. We'll celebrate 90th next year, but we're 89 years this year. 89 years young.
Founder, Professor Thomas A. Dorsey, what is the purpose for why he established the convention?
As being a songwriter, as writing songs, crossing over into gospel music from his blues background, he thought that that would be a wonderful venue for artists like himself to have somewhere to, to sing their music, to present their music to other gospel lovers like himself.
Okay.
And that's how the convention started.
What has changed over the years?
Through the years, we've had many artists. The styles mostly have changed, but the spirit of the convention has stayed the same, basically. Because when you invite God in, his spirit doesn't change, his love doesn't change. We change, but he doesn't. So we've got a lot of new artists, and then you have different types of all kinds of gospel music now, whereas before it was a more narrow road that you had to go.
As the president of the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses, which is the proper name for it, even though most of us call it the Dorsey Convention,
Yes.
how do you see gospel music changing and evolving in the next millennium, the next season?
I see it as wiser songwriters and artists.
Mhm.
You know, years ago when they first started, people were getting pennies and nickels and they didn't have contracts.
Yeah.
You know, let's deal with all of the legal bindings that are happening now. I see that evolving, which is a good thing for many because they were never getting money for the songs that they wrote. They got a few pennies for it, or as their artistry allowed them to sing around the world, they're now being recognized. They're flying them everywhere. Gospel music is not just a United States thing anymore. It's a worldwide community of music where people are beginning to enjoy. And they don't understand a lot of times why they enjoy it. So they don't know it's a spiritual thing, but they enjoy it. So it's that's really where it's changing, is that more people are more savvy. I saw you last week talking to one of my favorite artists, Don Hutchins, and he was telling you opening, getting their own record labels now, being recognized by all of the big companies, the Dove Awards, the Stellars, and Grammys, and what have you, Billboard, and everywhere else. And it used to be just kind of a little narrow group where it was accepted. Now it's accepted by everyone.
So that is amazing. At the conference that you're having, which is going to be August?
August the 6th through the 12th in the wonderful city of Orlando, Florida, we're having it at the Doubletree Hilton at Universal Studios. Sunday evening is going to be off the chain. Our own, your friend, Bishop Hezekiah Walker is doing a choir fest at our convention on Sunday evening. Then we have the Florida, you're going to have the Florida sections on Monday night. Tuesday night each night will be something. This year, Wednesday night, they're celebrating me for 10 years, which I can't believe. I told them all this gray hair on my head is because of you all for 10 years, you know, guys. But anyway, and then Thursday night and Friday night, we always close out with our youth.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And we will see you in Orlando in a few months. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.
I am so honored to talk to one of the most prolific groups in gospel music, the Williams Brothers. Welcome to Higher Impact.
It's good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
And let's start with Doug. Doug, the Williams Brothers have been in existence for how many years?
Believe it or not, we've been doing this gospel music, singing this gospel music for over 60 years. Over 60 years. Unbelievable.
Being Mississippi raised, born and bred in Mississippi, and having to, kind of make your way in the industry, you have experienced so much. And I know so much has changed in the industry, but those early days, what were some of those hard knocks that you got as a group trying to sing gospel and trying to be, a professional entity?
Growing up in the backwoods of Mississippi in a little country place, and it was sort of difficult to make a name for ourselves coming out of a place like that, because Smithville was a place that no one had ever heard of before, of course. And but my father was determined. He saw something in us, and he knew that there was a talent there, and that we had some gifts that he was going to make sure that the world would eventually see and hear what he knew was there from the start. So he put forth the effort. He spent his hard-earned dollars, wore out automobiles trying to take us all across the country. And many times we didn't get paid anything. We were just glad to go and sing. If we made $50, we were happy, so it was just enough to get gas to get back home. But many times we didn't even get that. But my dad was determined to make sure that the world would eventually know about the Williams brothers.
And that certainly has
It
happened.
happened.
I was saying like he got up to the $50 mark, but when we first recorded our first album, Jesus Will Fix It, which we went to Peacock Records, Songbirds in Houston, Texas. Our brothers, the Jacksons of the Airs, they told the guy about him, Don Roberts, and said, our little brothers can sing and you ought to just check them out. So we brought them out. They brought us out to Houston and we recorded and we got paid some cheeseburgers and French fries and chocolate malts after the recording. That was our paycheck.
That was it.
Now, Dre, you are a member of the Williams Brothers, the world famous Williams Brothers. How long have you been a part of the group?
I'm at 20 years now.
20 years. Now, are you related? What's your connection?
Well, everybody trying to make me up with my daddy for some odd reason. I don't know why, but that's what the story is. But no, I'm no relation to him.
And so why did you decide you would be the third Williams brothers at this time?
Well, it started back in, at least I was born in 73 and my mom used to play the Williams Brothers all the time, and matter of fact, the first hit they ever had, Jesus Will Fix It, was the first song that I was kind of learning how to sing as a baby. But the dream came true years ago when Pop Williams was still rolling with the group. And they was in Houston at the time at the music hall, Samuel's Coliseum. And I vowed to my little brother while we snuck backstage to meet him that I was going to sing with them one day, not knowing that would come true.
So Melvin, we'll conclude with you. Where are you going now? Because I know that you have announced that you're doing your final tour.
Yes, this is the farewell Nothing But the Hits tour on the Williams Brothers, and we're kicking it off next weekend in Houston. And then we're going to just take it from there. And we counted up, Dre and I counted up like 24, 25 songs, and we're not going to be able to do all of them in every show, but different shows we're going to change up a little bit. So somebody might go to see the Williams Brothers farewell tour and they say, okay, they sang this and they sang that, but they didn't sing that one. So you gotta come see more than one.
Love you guys, and
Love you too.
Even after you retire, I still know you're gonna be sick. God bless.
Well, thank you for having us.
You're welcome. God bless. Welcome to Higher Impact, Dr. Leonard Scott. You started Ty Scott Records in what year?
1976.
Oh my goodness. And what was going on then in your life that made you start a gospel record label?
Actually, we started it for our church choir did a recording. We needed a label to put it on. And that's why we started it. I thought it was going to be a one record label.
Well, now how many records have you produced and presented?
A bunch. Over 40, about 45 years, 47 years, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And some of the highlights of the careers that you have launched, can you share some of those names?
Absolutely. Well, of course, our biggest break came when John P. Key signed with us. Of course, at that time, he was a new artist. And so regardless of who you are, it's hard to break a new artist. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of the slack for him, like we got for everybody else, But when you got the goods, you just got the goods, And when he broke, it really, he took us to another whole new level.
Wow. And some of the other artists that you have helped?
Of course, the late great Rance Allen.
Yes.
Of course, he was already well known when we signed him. There's a story behind that also. He didn't actually we went to him. He said, well, that part of my career is over. I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor. And my son told him, I think you got more in you. I think you got, and he finally broke down. I mean, it was after a lot of pursuing him. And he finally said, well, maybe I'll do one more. And then we wanted to do a live. He had never done a live album before.
Wow.
All his career. And we asked him why, because he's a live artist.
Yes.
And he said, well, I'm afraid I'll forget the words or something, And we said, you're not going to forget the words. We'll put a teleprompter down there, And he decided to do it. And it became, his biggest record of his whole career.
Amazing. What are some of the major things that have shifted in gospel music in the industry?
Well, of course, the sound has shifted. Every generation has their sound. And so we've seen it go from the traditional gospel, which at that time was cutting edge, was really contemporary. Contemporary becomes traditional, and new contemporary comes in. And of course, the way the industry is run. When we started, it was LPs and cassette tapes, no 8-track, And so we've seen all of that change. You go back far enough, there was no sound recording, it was just paper publishing of sheet music. And so we've seen go from singles to albums, and now back to singles. Back basically, most people get their music. A lot of them is streaming. They just play what they want to play whenever they want to play it. So it's and every time those changes came, the industry was like, well, it's over.
Yeah.
People, they don't have to buy it anymore. They're gonna download it. I remember it was when the tapes came out. Oh, they're gonna record it off the radio. They're not going to buy it anymore. But people still buy music, and each time, instead of going south, it seems like it gets better and better, and
wow.
It just grows.
So over the last 40 some years, all the changes, all of the evolution, are there any regrets, anything that you really wanted to do that you didn't do or haven't done yet?
Oh, wow. Well, you always wish you could have done better, but you look at others and you say, wow, they're not even still here, and we're still here, So, and back to that old proverb, I complained about having no shoes till I met somebody that didn't have any feet. So we're just thankful that we're still in the game, and that we're doing what we would love to do, and what we feel like we're called to do.
Chrystal Rucker, welcome to Higher Impact.
Thank you so much, Dr. Teresa. So good to see you.
Oh my goodness, you have just illuminated so many platforms across the country for years with that beautiful voice. Tell me, wow. When did you know that you could really sing?
You know what? It was a long time before I really knew.
Really?
And the truth is, I struggle with knowing that now. But,
unbelievable.
I've always loved to sing, but, it's just, what people are saying, you don't want to believe all the hype, anyway, but I have the confidence in knowing that the God in me has given me an ability to do something that I know other people enjoy.
What is it going to be like on the other side of COVID for you?
To me, I have so much gratefulness in my heart to have survived COVID, that I feel like my ministry has taken a whole nother, I'm in a whole nother place at this point.
Really?
Because God has blessed us to be survivors.
Share with me, did you have COVID?
I did, in the latter part of 2020.
Wow.
And I didn't have it as bad as other people had it. But Dr. Hairston, the truth is, those of you that didn't have it, it is just as much mental as it is physical. Because you're listening to all the deaths and everything, that the death toll was high in 2020. And I knew so many people who had died from it. And every night in your bed, you wonder, okay, am I going to be next? You know, you're nervous. You're nervous. And I don't care how saved you are. You get afraid sometimes. Sometimes, you know, but I had to rebuke the enemy and keep on living. And I'm so grateful that I'm still alive to do what I've always done in another place now, on another level.
The understanding is that you've signed a new deal.
Yes, ma'am, I have. Yes, I have. I'm signed with the Bishop Norman Hutchins and IR Music Group. And I am so happy to have a home. Wow. And he has made me feel at home. He and his wife. I'm so grateful.
And now the new single, is it, that's being released?
Yes.
And what's the name of it?
Your Grace.
Your Grace.
And Bishop Hutchins actually wrote it for me. Yes.
So the whole project, well, I guess it'll be released as singles over the next few months and that kind of thing. And now, will you be touring?
Hopefully, yes. We have some things that he has planned for the artist on IR Music Group. And then, of course, I have my own dates that I'm still doing. And yes, hopefully, we're in the studio now, finishing and trying to get the project out. I can't give you a date, but just look for it. Look for the entire project.
What are the biggest, I would say, dreams that you have for gospel music as a genre in the future?
My dream is that we can all come together and, you know, no matter what denomination, because I'm not boxed into Church of God in Christ. That's where I got my start, and I'm grateful for them and the bishops and everybody, but I'm not boxed into that. I want everybody to come together and just glorify God and build up the kingdom and do what we're assigned to do in the earth and bring souls to Christ. I would love to have a huge mass revival because I feel like that's what we are missing a lot of now. We don't hear a lot about revivals anymore. And we could do just a mass, just a big revival with all denominations and everybody to just lift up the name of Jesus, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're called to do, is lift up his name, not ours.
Thank you so much, Chrystal Rucker. We wish you the best. We will be praying for you and looking for that new. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hairston. I appreciate you.
As we close tonight's show, please enjoy this throwback from Walter Hawkins. It's the classic Changed, performed by Chrystal Rucker.